Sony has already reached the last letter of the alphabet last year with the Sony Xperia Z, which the company called the best of Sony. Well, we knew it wasn't quite the best from the Japanese giant, and now I'm convinced that even Sony knew it too, because within 1 year of the Xperia Z, we already have the grand update, the Sony Xperia Z1, with a better package, better look, more power, and a phone that finally we think could compete with the true flagship from all other competitors. When you look at the Sony Xperia Z1 without actually holding it in your hand, you'll strongly be reminded of the Sony Xperia Z because the design philosophies are the same. You have the same omnibalance design here, a single slab. The omnibalance design means that every point of the body is symmetrical. So you see this part, this part, and this part, this part, and this part, this part, and this part, front and back. They all are symmetrical. There is no curve, nothing. Yeah, so this kind of gives a premium exclusive feeling to the body, and unlike the Xperia Z, this ring is actually cut out of a single piece of aluminum. Xperia Z had a plastic here. This is one piece of aluminum, only the ring, and you can see it's ionized twice, so you have separate tone on the middle, and then on the sides are more like golden brown. The middle part is a little darker. The flaps here are actually made of plastic and not metal, aluminum. You have the front and the back, like the Xperia Z, made of glass, which are fingerprint magnet. As you can see, a lot of fingerprints here, but don't forget to carry your cleaning cloth wherever you take this device. The front part, this glass is scratch resistant. The back glass also is hardened glass, but we don't know what glass exactly, or who manufactured this particular glass. Now, because it's metal and then glass, it's relatively heavier than the Xperia Z, and it's heavier than most of the other smartphones actually. But then again, the material used gives you that premium exclusive feeling. So probably if you're one of those guys who carry a smartphone as a status also, then you wouldn't mind carrying that extra weight. Now, this guy is IP58 certified, so you have dust resistance, you have water resistant, up till 1 meter for about 30 minutes. So that's taken care of. All these flaps are because of that, so that water cannot go inside it. The 3.5mm jack is also water resistant and all those stuff. So let's check out what's in there. So you have a 5-inch screen here, full HD, yeah, capacitive LCD screen, and it has over 400 ppi of color density. We'll talk about it when we talk about the display. On top you have the 2.1 MP front camera, you have the earpiece hidden here, and you also have this time the LED notification light along with the earpiece hidden right here. So at times it gets a little difficult to notice that, but Sony has a habit of putting the LED notification light all over the front anyway. So you also will have a sensor placed right here, the Sony branding there, and then you actually have, you can see nothing here, so all your shortcut keys are on the screen, effectively making the screen less than 5 inch. Now looking at the display, you will also know that the bezels are not that thin. So this 5-inch display actually more feel like a 5.3-inch display, because the body is quite large. There are a lot of unused space here, particularly this below part. So there are no buttons here, and probably they kept this space, just to have it symmetrical with the upper space, but we would have liked the button to be here, so so that we got the whole 5 inch of real estate over there. Now on the left side you have the micro SD card slot here, there you see, and then you also have your micro USB port. Yeah, the both are covered, protected from dust and water, and then you have a dock connector. Now of course this did not need to be covered, but then just for a design aesthetic sense we would have loved it to be covered as well, because that would have given that straight line kind of a feeling, that covered kind of. Now this guy looks kind of slightly out of place, suddenly exposed part. Yeah, below you have the speaker and then the eyelet for your lanyard here. Then the right side you have the very acceptable, and we love this feature, a dedicated hardware camera key. You have your volume rocker. Now the volume rocker is quite small, and when you're actually not looking at it, you're in a hurry. Many a time we actually press in the middle and randomly the volume got raised or lessened because it's so small that at times your finger just can't find the right direction. It's also made of plastic, and I don't know, we don't find it very strong. This button also, we don't find this button very strong as compared to the others, and at least as compared to the power button here, which is made of metal. And Sony says that they kept it metal specifically because research during the Xperia Z's development told them that average person uses this button about 67 times per day. But they also use the volume rocker as well. However, this other flap has your micro SIM card. There's a SIM tray there, and then on top you have the 3.5mm jack. And as I told you just now, the inside of this is waterproof. So on the Xperia Z, this part was covered, but here it did not need to be covered. So water can go in, but it cannot go inside the body from here. On the back side now you have the incredible new 20.7 megapixel camera. The lens is also a brand new lens, the Sony G lens. Now most of the Sony Xperia cameras have Sony made lenses. Sony G is actually Konica Minolta lenses that now Sony acquired Konica Minolta, and Sony G lenses are much better in terms of photo quality or video quality when you compare them to the Sony manufactured lenses. Sony lenses were actually in 3 categories. The lowest level is Sony, then comes the G, that is the Konica Minolta lenses, and then the Carl Zeiss lenses. So G sits right in the middle and more towards the Carl Zeiss than towards the Sony. So a very good initiative here. You also have one of the largest sensor size in the industry. You have a 1 by 2.3 inch sensor size here. It's also backside illuminated, that's a PSI sensor. A very wide aperture f by 2.0, and I want to show you something here. Now you look at the round colored part here, which is the lens, the size of that, and then we have the Galaxy Note 3, and if you look closely you'll see that round lens diameter is actually more than that of the Galaxy Note 3. We also have the HTC One, and you can see if you look closely that the Sony lens diameter is actually more than this. That means that it's covering a bigger sensor than the other 2 devices. And so that's a way of having an idea of whether your phone has a larger sensor. Now a sensor size is the single most important factor in giving a better quality picture. Others all are, revolve around that, all megapixels and autofocus stuffs. It's accompanied by an LED flash. You would have liked a dual LED, but that's the way it is. The Sony marking here, you have the NFC here, Xperia. Yep, so overall the design philosophy stays the same, but the material got upgraded, and the specs are very similar to the Sony Xperia Z Ultra. You have the quite powerful Snapdragon 800 2.2 gig grade 400 CPU, 2 GB of RAM, and Adreno 330 GPU. You have 16 GB of storage here. It can be expanded via the micro SD card to up to 64 GB, 3000 mAh battery. So quite powerful, looks beautiful, have a great camera, probably one of the best in the industry, will tell you in a while. Yeah, so Sony has done many things more correct than the Xperia Z here with the Xperia Z1. The 5-inch display has a full HD resolution, that's 9020 by 1080 pixels, 16 million colors, about 441 ppi of color density, which is incredible. However, the screen is so glossy that the moment you view it from a angle other than the one straight on, you see actually the color changes, and because of the glossiness of the screen, the reflection takes over, and whenever you're trying to read a text, at least on a darker screen, you'll find a problem. but it's still much better than the Xperia Z. Now this particular screen, Sony has used mainly two technologies from their Bravia series of TVs like the W9. So one is called triluminous, which is a backlit technology actually, which means some of the LEDs, which Sony calls quantum pixels, give out enhanced color tones so that the colors that you view are more lifelike. Yeah. Another technology is what Sony calls X reality, and that makes you view the photos and videos in their more natural tone, so they become more vivid and they more look like real than looking on a screen. However, note that, so there you see there's colors very enhanced, this red, very nicely put, very nice hue and other stuff. However, note that this is only restricted to this screen, so whatever photos you take, whatever photos you view this screen, view on this screen, would be restricted to only this screen, because this screen has the technology. Now the moment you take this photo to your PC, that's a whole different story. Now for example, you see such brilliant colors here, you probably won't see this brilliant color on your PC, so you'll have to remember that. There, see, very nice colors, they kind of pop out. The fonts are also nice. The only problem we have is the viewing angle. It's very reflective. Yeah, so let's check out the user interface now. So this guy runs on Android 4.2.2 and it has Sony's own Xperia user interface on top, like Samsung has its TouchWiz, like HTC has Sense. Now Xperia interface is one of those more refined but not very heavy, very ornamented ones. You have this nice scale effect on the unlock screen. Now you can have unlock widgets. There you see I have put all kind of widgets. You can also delete them. Yeah, and then you'll have space for one more. So you can go ahead and you can add here. Yeah, so there are space for 6 widgets. The last one is camera, that will straight away take you to the camera. It also can be opened straight away by dragging this. Yeah, so that's your unlock screen. And then you get to the very familiar Xperia interface. This is heavily customized UI, so you probably won't find much elements from the stock Android. So that's your home screens, very smooth. Snapdragon 800 processor makes sure that there is absolutely no lag whatsoever. So it can also take advantage of these enhanced animations to add widgets or apps. You can go here, you can drag, hold this and then drag this to the home pages to add. Go back, you can also add your app shortcuts, you can add wallpapers, yeah, and you can also change your themes. You see it immediately changes, and you can see from here which one looks better. There are a lot of them this time. And finally we have some colorful themes. Otherwise Sony themes are mainly, they design the same way here like this, and only difference was the color, but this time we have something different. You can also long press here to go to the same menu. That's your notification bar. Yeah. You can change this number of these or the arrangement of this in the settings menu. I'm going to show you that. This the 3D app dock, and you can customize it. You can have your own apps. You can drag this here and put this here, or your most used apps. Yeah. You can also delete these with this nice animation that has stayed with the Xperia interface forever. Now you can see the soft keys, the back, home and recent menu keys are on the screen and not here. So you effectively do not get 5" of the screen because this part is always there. So this is the home, and then you can can go to Google now straight away from there. Yeah. Nothing happens on double click here as well. Yeah, so that's the main app dock. And again you have the typical Sony in-house apps plus the default Google apps like Chrome, Play Store, and you'll have YouTube, Maps, Local, etc. Yeah. But this time Sony also has a lot of third-party apps as well. Now this is one thing actually I personally don't like about the Xperia phone. Sony gives out a lot of bloatware, a lot of third-party apps, assuming you're gonna use those, because Sony generally has a lot of partners from his TV area, from its music arena, movie arena. However, we particularly like a ROM that that does not have many bloatwares. Now we always have options of downloading these apps from the Play Store if we want to, but now when it comes with the ROM, it gets difficult to delete them. So anyway, on the app menu, drag it here, and then you can uninstall app. You can arrange them by alphabetical orders, or most to use, or install, and you can straight away go to Sony Store, this one, or the Play Store. Yeah. Let's check out the settings now. Typical Android Jelly Bean 4.2.2 settings. You have NFC. Yeah. Then in personalization, it's same. You can change your theme, and this quick settings is where you can change the quick function menu here. You see? Yeah. So then your call settings, sound effect. You have clear audio plus, as usual, that enhance the sound quality. And display, you can see extrality for mobile, your brightness, daydream. Storage, so this guy has 16 GB storage. You get about available is about 10 GB. Others are taken by the ROM and the install app. Now there is 730 MB of installed apps. These are part of the ROM, and we have some pictures and videos, of course, so you get effectively about 10.5 GB. Now when you don't have so many apps, first thing, those apps don't keep on running on the background. A lot of app, even when you're not using it, will run on the background, eating the bandwidth, eating the RAM. And number two, those apps take up spaces here. Now there's no way to free this space up, and because it's Android 4.2.2, when you install games with large data like Nova 3 or FIFA 14 or Asphalt, they all get saved to the phone and not to the SD card. The SD card is mainly for your media like photos, music, videos, but then those games data by default gets saved to the phone, and there is no out of box way of transferring them to SD card, because Google did not give a move to SD option in Jelly Bean. So it gets difficult. That's why on a separate note, we recommend you take at least a 16 GB device. I'm gonna show you, so you can add these many accounts. There is a lot of options, and then check out the about phone. There you see it runs Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean. It should be upgraded to 4.3, but I'm not sure when. Sony is not very efficient with its updates. A lot of its phones which were flagship at one time are still reeling under 4.1.2. Let's check out the main apps now. So the default browser is Chrome, so there is no question of showing that you already know Chrome. You've seen it in a lot of devices. Sony's new music player has a nice user interface, enhanced sound output. You see the songs are arranged in those modes: artists, songs, albums, and other. And you have Sense Me, which also arranges a song according to your mood. Go here, you can share them wirelessly, which is called Throw. You can also use it download music like the album art or the lyrics, media server, and you also have your sound effects here. Now Clear Audio Plus works really well. Now Now let's check out some YouTube approved sound to see how it sounds. That's the interface. There's the playlist. You can edit your music info. We also have a visualizer. Now you can see the sound is loud enough through speakers, but it's not exactly what I would call a bass heavy effect. Let's play some heavy. There you see again. The output is much better in this particular song, but still, knowing Sony's experience in music, we expected a little more bass, little more thumping bass. You have the album, and there you see the images are arranged in stack. A very good thing about the album is you can change the thumbnail size, and it takes advantage of the very powerful Snapdragon 800 processor, and you see nice animation, and they go all the way up here. Now you can see all your images here. Very nice animation. However, you cannot select all images from here. You have to select manually all the images. That's one thing we didn't like. So there is no option of selecting one and then selecting all of them if you, in case you want to delete all images in a particular album or in your device. So these are the albums, see, from Facebook, and your camera albums, internal memory, and other thing. Now check out one particular photo, for example this one. They come out very bright. Those are the screenshot, of course. They come out very bright thanks to the brilliant screen. You have sent me a slideshow that will show you the slide. You can have your own theme and all stuff, you know. Now let's check out some video playback, and first you're gonna play some 720p videos and see how it plays them. It shouldn't have any problem, knowing the very powerful specs. See, I see some shutter and the color there, some fuzziness, but that's about it. Does not carry on. Bright colors, nice, perfect sync between video and audio, no frame loss whatsoever. One of the most brilliant displays we've seen in the mobile industry today. Amazing color, they're so vivid. You see, they're so vivid. The details are perfectly observable. Brilliant. So we'll play a full HD video now and see if it's carried on. That shutter continues. That may be the video thing. The blacks are deep. Nice. There's a perfect sync between video and audio, and no frame loss even here, so no problem whatsoever in the video playback mode. Then you have Sony's own app store, and if you want more options from your Play Store, then you can come and explore here. Now, one of the USPs of the Z1 is the 20.7 MP 1x2.3 inch Sony G lens equipped camera. I'm in the 4.3 aspect ratio mode because I'm in the manual mode, so you can go ahead, you can select your modes here. Originally this generally by default will be the mode, yeah, which is called Superior Auto, which automatically enhances, automatically select the scenes and settings. Now see, I came to the widescreen 16:9 aspect ratio. However, in that mode the resolution would have decreased, and we'll confirm it from here. So that's your settings, self timer, yeah, burst with long press, we'll set it to high speed and see how it happens. You have steady shot on. So now when that's for your flash. That's the front camera there. Yeah. I can exactly see where is the image resolution thing. It automatically adjust that, so it does not, the setting does not show me the image resolution. However, it will definitely be less than 20.7 MP because it's widescreen. So you can go on clicking here. So all it takes is the time it takes to focus, lock the focus, and then see when in focus there is no lag. So much for the high speed burst mode. Yeah, so there you can record your video there, and you can also take image while recording video. That's for the geotag symbol. Now we'll go to manual, where we have full control. Now here you'll be able to see the resolution. There you see 20 MP. I'm in the 4:3 aspect ratio, and then you have to straight away go to 8 MP 4:3 and then 8 MP widescreen. So in iAuto or superior, not iAuto, it's superior auto. In superior auto it takes the image in 8 MP. Yeah, but we would like to utilize the whole 20 MP, so we're gonna keep it at 4:3. And then you have lot more options like ISO, metering, you have image stabilizer, both in image as well as in video, which is nice. Focus mode, you have a touch focus, you have object tracking when if you're capturing or shooting a moving object. Yeah, and when you're in video mode, you can see it records at full HD at 30 FPS. You have all these options. You can have the torch on so that you can record at night. You have the scene modes here. Yeah. And then there are other modes like time shift, burst, and sweep panorama. Now comes the picture quality. 20.7 MP on a larger sensor size helps, and you see a lot of details under enough light. Even when you zoom in very closely, the colors are perfect there. When we compare them to our color card, the colors under enough light were very close to the true color that our eyes see. However, things start getting complicated under low light. Under low light you see a lot of noise, not grains, noise. And under low light you also see the details largely missing because the camera automatically tries to do its own NR, its own noise reduction, in which some details are removed. So we suggest have the light on as much as possible so that you have enough light so that the camera does not automatically starts reducing the noise. Now there is no option of cancelling the automatic NR here, which generally are in the Sony cameras, because I personally would have liked to reduce the noise and other things in post-processing myself, but that's how it is. So see if you have enough light, use your LED flash to full effect if possible. Having said that, low light images still contain much more detail than some of the other flagship devices, and in general the camera in the Sony Xperia Z1 is right at the top of the camera chain. You have more details than the other flagships, both under enough and low light, better color, hue and saturation reproduction. Apart from that, you have social life. I'm not going to show you those are pretty old tools. You have Neo readers and all, and then Track ID, Smart Connect, Voice Pilot, all have been there since the Xperia generation. You have Google's own Play Movie, Play Music, Pro Suite. You see, you have Sony Music, There are a lot of third-party apps like Line and Flipkart and Big Flix and Magisto, GL Games, and LinkedIn, whatnot. There's something called Xperia Lounge, which is important and which is a good app to have, where you have lots of competitions and stuff. So we took part in some competition. We haven't won anything yet. The problem is you won't know when they are announced. Yeah, so you automatically get a VIP pass here. This you already entered the competition. So those are mainly promotions towards the FIFA World Cup, of which Sony is an official partner. You have the Sony Live app, where you can mainly see stuff that come on Sony TV here in India. So it requires you to have at least a 3G connection or Wi-Fi. You also have something called Sony Xperia Privilege, where you would get great deals from time to time. Now here you get a camera attachment case when you buy the lens. Then you have X4 video players and other usual stuffs. Yeah, so that's about it. A couple of new apps that enhances the overall experience, but for the most part the UI stays true to what it's meant for: a simple, non-pretentious, stable and fun UI.